How's it going, guys? Welcome back. Today we're doing our top 10 defensemen for NHL 20. As we always bring it up, we're doing ratings predictions. We're not ranking the 10 best defensemen in the league. We are ranking the 10 highest rated defensemen that we think EA is going to go out there and throw out there for NHL 20. In defense, it's by far the toughest ratings list to do to predict, at least for me, being that, left and right, they are all combined into one top 10. And being that you could be the very best defender in the league, but if you're bad at offense, you likely don't make the list. This list probably weighs previous year's ratings more than any other one as well because of that. Every year I think there's a lot of quote-unquote Weber sucked this year, why is he still on the list type of comments. Nothing against Weber, but that, insert a player's name who's been on EA's top 10 list for like 4 or 5 years that's been really good as an example, but usually that doesn't matter, especially if it is a guy who has, the Weber or the Doughty type name to him, who's highly respected by EA for years now. They usually manage a way onto this list and slowly drop their overall. They're just not going to go from a 90 to an 85 or so on and so forth. But before we get today's list started, we're going to start with those good old honorable mentions. We didn't throw Letang on there. He had a pretty good season. He bounced back, but EA dropped his overall last year to an 87, which concerns me this year. Could still get an 88 this year. Pretty common. And another big one, Byfuglien. They haven't been loving Byfuglien. I love Byfuglien, but he doesn't get the love, so we're not going to put him on the list. And then there's Morgan Rielly. I know the Leafs fans are going to love this one. That's right, we're not putting Morgan Rielly on the top 10. Start hating on the comment section, boys. But no, I got a whole bunch of guys on this list that are ranked 88 overall. Like 4 or 5 of them or something crazy like that. I always look at that overall as great defensemen, good defensemen, and then once you get closer to the 90, 91, 92s, that's where you start looking at the elite, the Norris Trophy candidate type of guys. I don't know. They're all great defensemen, I think. Guys like Rielly, he's got a lot to do and a lot of time to do it. I mean, he's still 24, keep that in mind, but he's not going to make this list. I do think, he could see that 88 overall range, though, and don't be surprised by that if he does squeak in a top 10 around that range. But being that he is so young, I would be very surprised if EA threw him on his top 10 already. Coming in at number 10, though, is Ryan Suter. Now, Suter's continued to be in a league of his own when it comes to puck discipline and not turning it over. The man played all 82 again this year, logging 26 minutes a night, and still only had an incredible 30 giveaways on the year. Despite Suter's lack of being some offensive juggernaut of a D-man, EA has respected the man's great ability on the defensive side and almost always finds a spot for him in their top 10, and this year will be no different. 88 for Ryan Suter. Number 9 is PK Subban. Now, the Subbanator had quite the injury-filled season, simply put. Unfortunate for him that he had to miss, as many games as he did this year. Maybe it was the curse of the cover? Is that possible? Nonetheless, Subban was an 88 coming into NHL 19, and because he missed so much time with injury, I highly doubt his overall changes at all. Subban with the 88 as well. Number 8 is John Karlsson. Karlsson has quietly but consistently been a stout blue liner for the Caps, 15 goals on 41 assists this season. But this was his first time in 5 years that he did not make the All-Star team, and you have to wonder if EA will be looking at that. Probably not, but it's possible. Karlsson came into NHL 19 at an 88 as well, and again we bring up the important number 88, and with the consistency he has shown over the years, I think EA keeps him at an 88 once again going into NHL 20. Number 7 is Roman Josi. Josi continues to play great puck for the Preds. 15 goals this year, 41 assists. Similar numbers we just heard from Carlson. And Subban, missed a lot of the year, so he had to hold down the fort while he was gone on his own, and he did a great job of it. 88 for Josi as well. Number 6 is Alex Pietrangelo. The top blue liner for the Blues has been right around that 45-50 point, 24-25 minutes a night benchmark for, pretty much his entire career. And what the storybook ending to the season added for him and his Blues as well. Petro came in NHL 19 as the 5th ranked D-man by EA. Might surprise some people he was that high. Great defenseman though, and with being the top D-man on the top team in the league this year, it would be surprising if Petro doesn't come into NHL 20 with at least an 89 overall. Number 5 is going to be Mark Giordano. Now, Giordano had an outstanding year for the Flames, dropping 74 points, a plus 38, 24 minutes a night on the ice. And he's the odds-on favorite to win a Norris right now. But just because you win the trophy for being the best defenseman in the league does not mean you get to be the best defenseman in a video game that comes out yearly. Yep, weird, right? I know. But we've seen this year after year with the Burnses and the Hedmans and so on and so forth. So you know what? Do not be surprised when Giordano's this far down the list. With Giordano being in the league for quite some time now, and with him not cracking EA's top 10 defender list for as long as I can remember, seeing him jump from an 87 overall to a 90 overall could be a big jump, but I think he more than deserves that jump if he brings home that hardware. We got a slew of 90 overalls coming up. I'm not saying Giordano is or isn't worse than any of them, but I do see him as the least likely by EA to be ranked at a 90, and that is ultimately the reason why we have him below the rest of them in this ratings list. Speaking of the devil, here is Brent Burns. Brent Burns doing Brent Burns-like things. He's still a very solid defenseman that drops a point per game and shoots a bazillion and a half times per game. Surprisingly though, Burns got what I would call put in the doghouse last year after coming off his Norris Trophy winning year and getting dropped to an 89 overall. And with Burns being 33, I don't see EA changing their mind on him too much, but he was a Norris finalist again this year, and I think that'll help him see that slight bump to a 90 overall again this year. Number 3 is Erik Karlsson. Karlsson hasn't been his point per game self for a few years now. This year missing some time due to injury, dropping 3 goals on 45 points in 53 games played is still pretty solid. Karlsson, you know, he came in at a 90 overall last year, and when you only play half-ish a season, kind of like we brought up with Subban earlier, typically EA does not change your overall unless, you know, you have an atrocious year. And unless the only reason Karlsson was downgraded to a 90 last year was that minus 25 he put up, I don't think it changes this year, and he stands put at a 90 overall. Number 2 is Drew Doughty. I don't like using plus minus as a stat at all to judge defensemen. Most people don't, but Doughty was a count it minus 34. A minus 34 a year in and year out Norris candidate, that's not good. Here's why I'm okay with, you know, using plus minus on this one. Now the Kings, they don't score a lot. I understand that. They struggle this year a lot. Well, the Ducks don't score either, but I didn't see any minus 34s on that team. But looking further into it, LA that is, Doughty plays close to half the game, right? The Kings gave up nearly 30 more goals on even strength than they scored on even strength this year, and when Doughty was on the ice, the Kings allowed 34 more even strength goals than they scored. That number should logically be cut in half because, you know, he played half those games, or he played half the minutes. But it wasn't. It was actually higher. And not only that, but Doughty netted a career high in giveaways this year with 105. Still an outstanding player. One meh year doesn't make him a bad player. That whole team had a meh year. But if there is one position EA does like to flip-flop a lot around, it is the defensive area where those ranks 1, 2, and 3 seem to get switched around every single year when it comes to defensemen. Doughty was the top-ranked D-man last year at a 92. I don't expect EA to doghouse him for one bad year, but I do expect a slight downgrade to a 91 overall going into NHL 20. Which leaves us with number 1, the big dog himself, Zach Werenski, aka Victor Hedman. Could be a different person, I guess. This one was beyond tough, I'm gonna be honest. After watching him get coned by the Blue Jackets numerous times in playoffs, a team that struggles to cone a literal cone, then again, he could have, you know, just been rusty from not playing near the end of the season. It just had me thinking about this. I want to put him at number 1, but we've always said it. EA doesn't use playoffs to judge a guy for his overall, and over the past 3 years, Hedman is the only guy on this list to be a Norris Trophy finalist each of those 3 years, and winning it last year, of course. Throw on that and the fact that he is a big guy with a powerful clapper. Sound familiar? Not calling him a Shea Weber, but we've seen Shea Weber use those similar accolades to own top 10 lists from EA games year in and year out there for quite some time. Because being, you know, that bigger body guy, it helps beef up those physical stats and the shooting stats, which are also important in getting that extra overall point or two in a video game. Still though, the only thing that is really sticking out to me from a standpoint that EA could be looking at is that he had 53 points in 70 games this year in a heavily offensive year on one of the most stacked teams the league has seen in quite some time, and that could stop him from making the jump to a 92. It might not, but we are going to rank Hedman at number 1 with a 91 overall. With 92 overall upside, we will see if it happens. Those are our top 10 defensemen for NHL 20. I'd love to hear your guys' list as always down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.